Hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation. And welcome to another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for over a year and 2.5 months and counting, because the daily stream streak remains strong, I'm here to open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e., fandom. Either way, we are here for the next approximately 50 minutes. 50 for this coffee break. So, before we begin the general Q&A, let me start with a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, Mamori. Congratulations on being the #1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team, i.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Alongside you, Rune, Sleepless Dragon, Chesta Factory, Bee Librarian, hey, long time no see, hope you've been doing well. 369 Destroyer, Alki. I think I said Chesta Factory, Senior Researcher Alex, Anomalous Hodge. Everyone who I have just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site 42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. Furthermore, where'd you go? Stop being... There we go. Interns, BB, Hybrid Gamer, Ratty, Steven, Pumpkin King, Minty Andrea, McCullough, Shadow Wolf, Musical Sand, Silly Core, Some Person Perhaps, Not a Chaos Insurgency Spy, Jinxed Jax, Nobody, and O1 Ethics Committee. Thank you all for being here punctually, and thank you for being here, interns, just for being you. Now, today's stream is sponsored by the ongoing battle to send me, Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site 42, as the diplomatic envoy to Open Sauce. As we've been talking about over the course of the last week, Open Sauce is a tech YouTuber convention taking place in the San Francisco Bay Area in 2 weekends. Even though it is a tech YouTube convention, there will be creators of several different categories, including people like Ranboo, Captain Disillusion, Aaron from Game Grumps. Many prominent YouTube content creators, as well as people from YouTube corporate, will be present at this convention. While it does not fit the SCP fandom, it is an opportunity to network with all of these different YouTubers, introduce them to the SCP Foundation, introduce them to Site 42, so that in the future, if a certain game developer or film YouTuber wants a subject to work on that's Creative Commons, we can swoop in and be part of the plan. And so I will be networking to the best of my ability on behalf of the SCP community and the Site42 community. I will be trying my best to meet filmmakers, animators, game devs who could be interested in the SCP Foundation universe. Now, because this is a soft power bid, I have to give you a warning. If you do donate to help me go to this, I can't guarantee results. Usually, if I go to film something, as I've done for the previous SCP Foundation plays that we have here on the channel, I can at least guarantee a hard result. This is a much more nebulous thing. It's also much more expensive than usual. Tickets for this, at minimum, were $800 to make this happen. So, I would appreciate it if you have extra scratch to help me afford skipping work and doing this instead. But, do be warned, it is soft power. Networking is a mushy game. I will do my best. I tend to be a rather charming orator. But the results of this will be knowledge, connections, things that are normally locked off to only but the richy riches who can afford crazy expensive tickets on a lark. So, thank you in advance if you are able to donate to help me do that. And remember, if you are unable to donate, you can always help out as a member of Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. When you like, share, subscribe, comment, chat, make fan art, clips, edits, out-of-context compilations of Site42, as well as the projects we support, the SCP filmmakers, game devs, animators, etc. That is how we get bigger and better SCP projects made. We need the engagement team. We need the funding team, everybody. Puppy of Interest 42, codenamed Charlie, agrees that Broke Gang is cool because we all know starving artists. So say hello to Puppy of Interest 42, codenamed Charlie. She is here for your attention and support.
She couldn't open the door herself, so she came down and got me.
Ah, very clever, Charlie. Puppy of Interest 42, codenamed Charlie. Here is your chat mandated treat. Oh, she saw it coming. What a delightful little baby. Sweetest pumpkin at Site42. Be free. And last but not least, remember, besides planning for this open sauce convention in 2 weekends, I am also going to be attending MetroCon Tampa. MetroCon Tampa at the end of July is going to be, I have 2 panels to run. And if you happen to be in the Southeast and you can make your way to MetroCon Tampa, it would be cool to see you in the SCP Foundation themed panels I will be running. So, with all that out of the way, standard business, there is no mainstream subject today. There is no mainstream subject. It's a short coffee break. We're just going to be chatting about the SCP Foundation briefings as per usual. A couple questions I see that I want to get out of the way real quick. Intern Wacky Clown, why are you streaming so early in the day? Well, it's well known that my cover job as a ballroom dance instructor is on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so, those days I typically have to stream earlier before I go to shift. What's going on with Charlie's eyes? Her left one looks hazy. Intern Jinx Jax, good noticing. Puppy of Interest 42, codenamed Charlie, in case you have not been around long enough, was a abandoned puppy we found on Christmas Eve in the streets around our neighborhood. We were unable to find anyone who she belonged to, which is why she lives with us now. We do believe she might have been dumped because of her bad eyes. One of her eyes can see, the other is completely blind. You are, of course, seeing the one that is genetically incorrect and therefore cannot see. But for being half blind, she is still a very clever and happy puppy. And we are taking care of her to the best of our ability. Avari, long time no seen. Hope you're doing well. Nobody at all. Thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have made them a 1-star Containment Hazard Assessment team. Let's see if the chat can reach a 5-star ranking before this coffee break ends. Aoki, thank you for sending a star. They are now a 2-star team. Rebel Commander, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself some cheesy fries on your way past the commissary. Imagine finding a creator archive in between who created a universe format perfect for the Creative Commons format, and you really want to add to it, but it's not CC. I mean, yes, you cannot CC release someone else's work, so it is important that the SCP Foundation sticks to its own intellectual property, doesn't take from other creators and things like that. Intern Yamada, how long ago did you get Charlie? As I said, we found her on the streets abandoned on Christmas Eve just this past year, 2025. She was approximately 2 to 3 months old at the time by estimate of Agent Goose, the animal wrangler on site, as well as the veterinarian. And so we assume she is about 2 to 3 months at that point, meaning she is now 8 to 9 months old. Intern Zachary, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some nachos on your way past the commissary. Office Complex 2 is finally back to normal. We locked Steve in a broom closet with SCP-729. Ow. Ow. That's Jay. SCP-729 is Jay. Do not send anyone to let him out. You know what? That sounds fine, I guess. Snowball Blizzard, thank you for sending a floating heart to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they feel the love. Ace of Luck, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. As well as being a member, grab yourself a poutine on your way past the commissary. Since SCP-7 2 in a row, motherfucker, is basically your kryptonite. It's not my kryptonite, it's everyone's kryptonite. Except for the fair, scant few rare people who are crazy and somehow immune to how disgusting that abomination is. Is there just a 729? Yes, there is a normal 729. SCP-729 is a marble bathtub that if you get in the bath, you get feeling very lethargic and you stay in the bath and you never come out, and so you die in the bath. That is all it is. It does not have the same effects as that abomination. It is just an anomalous bathtub. Oh, fuck. God damn it. Shit. Bitch. Monstrosity. Ugh. Be Librarian, thank you for your 6 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Will people never learn not to say the name aloud? Well, even cute little rejoinders and nicknames, it's still bringing that thing to mind is a knee-jerk, near-vomiting reaction. You could gussy it up with cute nicknames. It's still thinking about that thing by surprise is never good. 100 stars. Thank you for sending 5 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. They, pardon, earned a prestige rank, but they are still a 2-star team after that. Intern Yamada, how do you feel about AI SCP quote-unquote artists? The SCP Foundation as a whole is a very anti-AI art community. After all, the SCP Foundation is an artistic hobbyist community. Why in the hell would they want to outsource their hobby of creating art to robots? It sounds stupid when you put it that way, doesn't it? So yes, the SCP Foundation does not accept AI art for articles or art. Pardon me. Still getting over that thing. I don't know. Thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have made them a 3-star team. Dr. Puppeteer, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. And hey, it's been a minute. Hope you've been doing well. Grab yourself a big cup of coffee on your way past the commissary. I'm alive! What's going on? Well, Dr. Puppeteer, we've been busy. We're prepping for multiple conventions this July. It's going to be a hectic summer. I've got Eric from Toad King Studios, the SCP Foundation's premier SCP Foundation merch Etsy shop, as well as Foundation After Midnight Radio podcast, the SCP Foundation's premier Welcome to Night Vale for the SCP Foundation community. If you've never heard of this, it's on YouTube. It's pretty damn good. He's getting me a batch of SCP stickers to take to open source. That way I can hand them out to other YouTubers so that they remember the SCP Foundation exists after the convention. As I said, we're pulling out all the stops to make our mark on this convention. On top of which, we will be having merch for the SCP panels at MetroCon, so you can come see us there. Busy planning season is what we're doing. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again to say, I know so I don't, it's just really perfect for CC format. Yeah, I mean, remember, Creative Commons does not mean that it is without copyright. A lot of people mistake that. They say SCP is public domain. SCP is not public domain. It is still copyrighted. Copyright means that you own the rights to your work. Creative Commons does not release those rights incompletely. What it is it says that, let's put it like this. If I wanted to use Mickey Mouse, bad example, just became public domain for Steamboat Willie. If I wanted to use a newer character, if I wanted to use Captain Clark in a movie, I would have to approach Kane Pixels and say, hey, can I use Captain Clark in my thing? And if Kane says no, then no. But for the SCP Foundation, imagine Kane Pixels got really tired of people asking to use Captain Clark, and he wanted people to use Captain Clark. So it's not that he's holding Captain Clark hostage. It's I want people to use Captain Clark to feel free to do so within reasonable rights, and I want them to stop bothering me to ask. The Creative Commons is a set of rules you can release by that people no longer have to come talk to you to use your work. Instead, the Creative Commons is a pathway that, as long as you release it, Creative Commons, people can look up what kind of Creative Commons and utilize the IP without having to approach you first. It is a path to using a copyrighted work, not releasing it from copyright. So for the SCP's version of Creative Commons, you can reuse and remix SCP stories in your own work. You can even monetize the Creative Commons used work, but you have to do a couple things to make sure you follow the rules. You have to credit the original author of the work you're using. You have to link to it. You have to name the author and the story that's being reproduced. You also must release your derivative work via the same Creative Commons license so it can be reused. So in that manner, you are also abiding by the Creative Commons. That's what makes it legal to reuse the work. If people break the rules of the Creative Commons, if they don't credit the original author, if they don't release their own work via Creative Commons, they can be legally banned from using SCP works. They can just be banned. Their right to use the license can be revoked. And so it's not public domain, it's Creative Commons. Keep that in mind and don't break the rules. Theft King, prominent FNAF and other analog horror and VHS tape maker. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you've been doing well. Welcome to the chat, buddy. And I'm confused about some CC stuff. A lot of stuff requires that it not be for a commercial product, but then it's like, is an independent YouTuber's animation a commercial product? Ads run. So if if the particular Creative Commons that you're using says not for a commercial product, then I do believe that would include advertised, monetized videos. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I am only guessing here. But I do believe commercial use means monetized, and run with ads does mean monetized. There is a lot of leeway where people never find out and cheat and lie and don't do that properly. But I do believe if you're being strictly to the letter of the law, then that's what that means. Meaning you couldn't take a sponsorship on the video and you couldn't run ads on the video. I believe that is what that means. Intern Axelwolf, I'll donate $100 if you show me SCP-999. Axelwolf, let's flip this around. If you want to donate $100 to this stream, I will show you at least 5 iterations of SCP-999 because we're actually having an SCP-999 convention here at Site-42 today. I didn't think to mention this because, the 4th of July was yesterday. I had a little bit of anomalous liquids yesterday. I broke my fast to celebrate the holiday, and so I'm a little woozy today. If you think that I'm talking funny, it's because I'm a little tired. Not too bad. But, yes, I will show you 5 iterations of 999 if you donate $100. But you gotta donate first. That's the rule. That's the way. Yeah, that's what I think too. If you want to circumvent that, is there any avenue to monetize a video with permission from the creator? Well, in that case, Theft King, you would have to, again, just like you're saying, get permission from the creator. The Creative Commons is meant to circumvent that need. It's supposed to be a path that you use to use the work without their permission because they've already granted blanket permission to do it this way. Once you're talking about contacting the creator for permission, now you're basically not really using the Creative Commons route. You're just going and asking for license. And the author could grant that license at their whim. For indie artists, it's a lot easier to get that permission because they're a little more accessible. For bigger creators who have a lot of inquiries, that would be when you do not contact them directly because they won't answer. That's when the Creative Commons is like, okay, just use it under these rules. All right, there's some donations. Let me get caught up. I don't want to miss you guys. Kitten Kinsey, thank you for your 9 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Hey, boss, you doing okay today? Well, besides that slight wooziness I told you about, I actually did not drink that much anomalous fluid last night. But due to my Foundation Fitness initiative and losing a bunch of weight, I have completely cut out drinking for the better course of 2 months, let alone a small bit of wine once at a meetup. So, because of that lack cutting off, the weight I've lost about 22 pounds in the last 2 months. All of it weight that I gained during the injury recovery. So I'm still just ahead of where I was before the injury. So we're still just normalizing. But due to the weight loss, as well as cutting it out for a while, my tolerance is shot. That was rough. Theft King. Understood. Thanks for the clarity. I'm interested in doing an SCP animation at some point soon. Hey, you got my Discord, man. Reach out to me if you want to talk more details, and we can make sure we're all clear. Kitten Kinsey, thank you for... No, I already read that. But thank you for being a member anyways. Lol. Ace of Luck, thank you for donating again to say. So what would happen if you were put in SCP-729 with 72... Why are we still talking about that? That's Jay. Would you be panicking because of that abomination? Or lethargic because of the tub? Porque no los dos. Porque no los dos. Hey, Doc, I really liked your series. I'm talking about SCP authors, especially because it helped with discovering some cool articles. Are there any authors you can recommend? Okay, just off the top of my head, authors whose works you should check out for various reasons. You should check out Desk's SCPs. Did you know our moderator Desk is an SCP author with 2 articles on the database? Read Desk's articles. Furthermore, read my articles. My articles exist, and I'm here. If you like me and my content, you might like my SCP articles. Dr. Sumerian is one of the most prolific SCP authors, over 200 articles on the site, I believe. Crazy writer. Usually short and sweet and interesting articles. Some very good puns and jokes, too. Plague PJP and J Dune are my pair of never miss SCP authors. If I see their name on an article, I'm reading them and they're gonna be awesome. Uncle Nicolini usually rocks. If you like super technobabble, high concept, crazy sci-fi concept stuff, SCP author Billith is the way to go. Ori Tiefling writes very wholesome or heartbreaking, very feels gay articles. Ori Tiefling rocks for that. You will feel things, and there will be gay things. That is today's bevy of SCP authors to read. LaRomer, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself some Pucky on your way past the commissary. Here's a tiny cash money for you, Doctor. Well, thank you. I will put that toward the, right now, open sauce YouTuber networking fund for the very expensive ticket, for the time I'm taking off work, for the merch I am purchasing to give away. Because, of course, I'm not going to ask Toad King for free merch to give away at this convention. I'm going to compensate Eric for his work and sweet, sweet merchandise effectively. That is how we artists keep each other in business. 055 the Black Cat, thank you for, or 055 the Black Cat, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Get yourself a glass of milk on your way past the commissary. Sup can, that doesn't make sense. Soup can? We have SCP-729. And thank you for donating again to say, please talk to Hacksmith. Give me one moment. Sorry, I'm having a brain freeze. Too many iterations of that thing in a row. Oh, 055 the Black Cat. I do believe... Chat, this is a moderation thing real quick. Give me a moment. 053 the Kid. I believe this might be a burner account of yours. You were muted and kicked from the Site42 server for arguing people about their gender identity and romantic preferences. Your Discord bio had hate people mistaking bi and pan, and you started arguing with people in the Discord server about the difference of that, essentially arguing their own preferences in terminology, which is exceptionally rude, especially during Pride Month. Having another account for this, while I appreciate your donations, you are evading a ban. If you want to send me an email to the business email and apologize for your actions and say that you won't do it again, perhaps I might let you back in the DM. I will say perhaps my moderators acted rashly, but you need to apologize and not do it again. So Desk is going to mute you for the time being until you send me to the business email to chat about this. Sorry about that, chat. Had to handle that issue since it became a conversation where they were going around being blocked and donating to do so. So at the very least, since they gave money to the cause, I acknowledge them to say what happened, because it would be rude to not reply to the donation. And I got to watch out for that in case it's actually repugnant people. Like, I'm not going to answer a Nazi's donation in the future. There's a new scenario, which is why I'm working through it in real time. I apologize. Okay, so I'll be waiting for your email to that business email, and let me get back to catch up. We have 20 minutes left in stream. All right, where were we? Andrew Ter, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a plate of flapjacks on your way past the commissary. What is your opinion on SCP-529, and can I pet it? I believe 529 to be Josie the half-cat, right? And that being the case, I think Josie is adorbs. Everyone thinks Josie is adorbs. If you don't think Josie the half-cat is adorbs, then you are wrong and should consider and ruminate upon your wrongness. Checkpoint Aviation, thank you for sending a flow state to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will lock in at your urging. Deep breaths, everyone. Dr. Puppeteer, thank you for donating again to say. Glad you're doing well. I had a rough May, but I'm doing better. Have a nice summer, Dr. Puppeteer. Well, you as well. I'm sorry your May was rough. I hope that your July improves. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again to say. No, I know, but the archive in between isn't SCP. He just created non-Creative Commons work that is the perfect foundation for a new Creative Commons fandom format, but I won't use his work. I don't... Can you start capitalizing or putting quotations the name of whoever you're talking about? The way you're typing right now, I can't exactly understand who you're talking about and how. I need you to be a little more clear in your typing. I know the YouTube super chat donation keyboard is famously crappy and litters with typos, but I need you to do your best because I don't exactly understand. It sounds to me like you're saying someone is making a new Creative Commons style fandom, which is interesting. I wonder who and what they are and what they do. Office Guide, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a blackberry lemonade on your way past the commissary. Need help writing a pattern screamer? Any tips? So, the one time I wrote a pattern screamer, me and my contest team, took it in a very different direction than the standard lore. That is for my tale, Ignorance is Bliss. But what I would do is first I would read the pattern screamer tagged works, because pattern screamers do have their own tag. So start at 3930 and read through the works to see how other people have characterized them and their lore, and then see how you can utilize that in your way. That's how I would start, is doing copious amounts of research. Cool Franco, thank you for sending a flower, a thumbs up, and a floating, a flower and a thumbs up to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they find the flower pretty and appreciate the positivity of the thumbs up. Black Phoenix, thank you for sending a floating heart to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they feel the love. Cap Parawatch member, thank you for your 7 months as a mobile task force captain here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Do we take out SCP-4657 for the 4th of July for the fireworks? Well, we handled it in the manner of its containment procedures. It has very specific rules for being utilized. 4657, get in the right database page. 657. Because remember, wait. This is not one of the firework SCPs I thought it was. There's 2 4th of July firework SCPs, and this isn't one of them. This is a different firework. All right, you've got my interest. Box housing a single mechanical button. Exterior of the box is composed of common mahogany. Engraved instructions are go outside, like for real. You need to be outside for this. Trust me, dude. Also, you need to be alone when, never mind. It's fine if there are other people. Open the box, duh. Press the button. Enjoy. Pressing the button will produce a monotonous beeping for 15 seconds. After the beeping, it will shoot off fireworks from a disembodied masculine voice relaying a message. And there is a message. I do not believe we brought this out for the 4th of July. Yes, it's fireworks, but it's a bit weird with the whole "will you go out with me" thing. We don't want that to be a weird message for certain staff members and for those who try to fraternize with anomalies. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again to say. It's the archive in between. It's not Creative Commons, but I wish. Okay, now I see what you're saying. Thank you. So it's not Creative Commons. Yes, most people are afraid of releasing Creative Commons because then they can't make all the money off the merchandising or the film rights or things like that. That's why SCP hasn't gotten a movie so far, because everyone's afraid of sharing and caring. People could make money off the Creative Commons, they're just not creative enough to do so. But we will. Intern Mark C, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Go get yourself a couple of Chicago-style hotted dogs on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, intern Mark C here, to report the SCP site building game I'm working on has made it past the document phase and the basic systems being built. I know it's not a Friday, but this feels like a victory. Hey, victory can be had any day. We just celebrate them on Fridays. So excellent work getting to the next phase of your game development. I look forward to seeing you make this happen. So why are you wearing a black today for your lab coat? Intern Lornon, I decided to wear my site director coat today. I feel like I can rotate between my white coat, my site director coat, and my rainbow coat at my leisure, just on a whim from now on. Where is the Discord server? The Discord server location is hidden. It's an Easter egg that you have to find. We want to make sure you're clever enough to deserve joining, as well as being 18 or older. You must be 18 or older, as is the SCP Wiki's rules. So, there is a hint to the location of the Discord server at the end of stream, if you pay close attention. End of stream being in 14 minutes. Hey, I was scrolling, the vegan teacher was above. That is not a name that I have heard in a very long time. Is she still relevant in any manner? I mean, she's never going to stop, but paying attention to her is what gives her power at this point. How do you feel about the Tickle Monster being the child of the Scarlet King? Intern Kokoro, that is a very prominent headcanon and theory. It is not proven fact, but there are plenty of Foundation staff members who believe that to be the case. Me? I don't know. I'm a little iffy on the concept myself. But I could be proven wrong in the future. Jackenstein from Deltarune singing. Well, there is the end credit song, which takes place at the end of each stream. I do have a new policy while we're trying to raise funds to go to this crazy convention up in 2 weeks. That if you wish to choose the end credit song for me to sing, I will give it to the top donator. I'm not going to do this all the time, and in fact, I do have a pretty good song pick for today. But top donor, currently Marksy, can pick the credit song if they wish. Captain Evil Greasy John, it's been a minute. Good to see you and hope you're doing well. Well, I personally think that your black lab coat suits you better than your white lab coat. It's definitely a different fabric and look from the white lab coat. I actually like the fabric of the white lab coat better. But this one, it has the embroidery, which I enjoy, the personalization. And the black lab coat does give a little more authority, I believe. Ghost Melt, thank you for giving a 100 to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. Dr. Sherman, like last time, if I'm still top donor at the end of stream, do whatever you have prepared. Roger that, Marksy. You are currently the winner. I will take that into advisement. Damn, I haven't seen you in years. Intern Proof, well, welcome. The algorithm has brought you back around. It's funny, we've been streaming every day for over a year and 2 months. It's just the funniness of the YouTube algorithm, whether people actually see us or not. Ghost Melt, thank you for sending another 100. I'm sure the chat will keep it even more 100 because you've urged it. Curiously, if an SCP entity were a guest character in a game like Dead by Daylight or a fighting game, how would the CC affect the IP they guest star in? What I think, now again, I am not a lawyer. I don't actually know. I am just hypothesizing off the dome here. I think that if you're a guest character in a game, then that means that you have licensing rights given to you. Typically, it's because you have licensing rights given from the creator. And so they grant you the license to do it. Now, for a Creative Commons property, what I think would happen is that what should be released is the models and code of the character you use. If you put 096 in Dead by Daylight, I think you would have to, by Creative Commons, share the model online so people could reuse and remix your version of it. That's what I think it should be. I don't think it makes the entire game. I don't think Dead by Daylight using SCP-096 would make Dead by Daylight a Creative Commons property. I think it would make their model of 096 be Creative Commons, which I think is fair. Yes, you make all this money by people purchasing the character to use in the game, but also then you release the model so it can be used in other games. I think that's fair, don't you? Intern Time Waste, thank you for subscribing to Site 42. Welcome to staff. Ghost Melt, Dr. Sherman, thank you for shouting me out. I've never been shouted out before. I mean, well, I'm sorry to hear that, especially if you donated to someone, you should be shouted out. Although, I wonder if there's a day down the line where I'll be like Markiplier, where I have so many donations that I can't even keep up with them. But today is not that day. We are still small enough that I will respond to every donor that I can. The portal gun isn't an SCP, but if it were, would it be an explained one? I do believe, Intern Jackenstein, that the portal gun, if we found it in the SCP universe, it would be probably made if Aperture Science existed in the Foundation universe, or more likely it would be made by Prometheus Labs or Anderson Robotics. at which point it would still be an anomalous piece of tech that we would have to be dissecting to try and figure out how to use. Consider SCP, pardon me, SCP-3108, the nerfing gun, is a different anomalous gun, and that is still an SCP. It is not an explained, because if it's explained, it means we understand how the tech works and it's not anomalous. If we don't understand how the tech works and it's still anomalous, then it would still be a regular SCP. Pingu, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a wafa thin mint on your way past the commissary. On the that's right, you know it died. On the that's right, you know it died. I have no idea what you mean, but your message had a fun rhythm to say. Dr. Sherman, what made you interested in the SCP Foundation, or how did you find out about it? By this, I mean, how did you find the community? Intern Ethan Winson, my author on the higher pataphysical narrative level above us, does not remember how he found the SCP Foundation. It must have been in the year 2012 or 2013, since by the year 2013, 2014, he was running a D&D game using SCP creatures as instances in the game that he was running. But what's the phrase I'm looking for? He doesn't actually remember where he found SCP at all. He assumes he must have been late night looking at horror stuff on the internet and stumbled on it, or maybe he learned about it from Markiplier's playthroughs of Containment Breach. Give me just one moment. I was just pinged in the back channels, not by desk, but by something that will be very fun to show off, if true. Let me confirm. Let me confirm. Let me confirm. Let me confirm. Yes, here we are. Site 42 staff. I mentioned earlier that I was going to MetroCon Tampa. Well, I have just been informed by MetroCon staff that my panels have been approved and put on the schedule. So the SCP Foundation meetup, hosted by Dr. Sherman from Site 42, is now on the schedule for Friday, July 31st, 3 p.m., as well as on Saturday, a second panel at 5 p.m. We are doing double panels for twice the SCP Foundation Lore Talk. We die in the dark so that you may live in the light. But once in a while, the Foundation staff need to take a day off. Join Dr. Theron Sherman from the Site 42 YouTube TikTok channels for an SCP fan meetup. Dr. Sherman will hold a short Q&A, sign autographs, and take pictures. There will also be time allotted for taking cosplay photos with the other SCP fans, including discussing the lore of the SCP Foundation universe, and a small amount of SCP Foundation merch will be given away courtesy of Toe King Studios on Etsy. Cosplays from all corners of the SCP universe, SCP staff, SCPs, group of interest, etc. are welcome, and even congoers unfamiliar with SCP are welcome to come and investigate this strange online sci-fi and horror fandom as well. As always, secure, contain, protect. So, that is going to happen at both Friday and Saturday of MetroCon Tampa. If you can make it, I'll see you there. Returning to the chat. I see I've got some catching up to do. Affleck, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. And hey, I think it's been a minute. Hope you've been doing well. Grab yourself a snap into a Slim Jim on your way past the commissary. Also, Blue Lemon, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dr. Sherman, how would you contain the black beast of assuming the artist does not die of boredom? Well, the artist didn't die of boredom. The artist had a freak heart attack and died, causing the very expensive animation to be shelved, causing the demise of the black beast of And so, yes, I would utilize the pataphysics department to make certain that said artist is not killed, because remember, we got to contain the black beast of not destroy it. So we would contain the author, animator, and we would force them at gunpoint to keep animating the entity into a containment cell and keep it there so we could test it for funsies. Where is it happening at? Jinxed Jacks. The MetroCon is in Tampa, Florida, United States. That is where I will be. Intern Pingu, thank you for your first donation to today's... no, thank you for donating again. What am I saying? Crabs nipping the what's with the, angry toes. Well, take your toes out of the water if you want the crabs to stop nipping them, I guess. HRS, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a stroopwafel on your way past the commissary. If the Traveler from Destiny 2 appeared in the SCP universe and started helping humanity like it did in the D2 verse, what would the Foundation do? Well, that would very blatantly be a broken masquerade scenario. The same as if you look at SCP-7999. 7999 has a wormhole opening up in the sky that everybody can see. At that point, secrecy is kind of boned. So read SCP-7999 to see how we would handle a somewhat peaceful breach of the veil like that. Intern Cloak Copper. Thank you for sending a glitter bomb to the Containment Hazard Assessment team, as well as a 100, as well as a chili, as well as a 100, as well as a GG. I am sure they will understand the spicy treat. They will appreciate the spicy treat, keep it twice as 100, have a good game, and enjoy cleaning up the glitter bomb you sent at them. I don't know. Thank you for sending another glitter bomb to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will enjoy that cleanup effort. Gray, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You've made them a 4-star team right at the end of stream. And since we are at the end of stream, everyone, as always, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. It's a tradition around these parts. Of course, that does not mean that I'm going to tell you that my SCPs that I wrote are my favorites. That would be just sheer narcissism, cheating. But if you want to read the SCPs I wrote, you can go to the Sherman's author page in Site42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you're on my author page, one tab over, you'll find a list of links. Links that people ask about in the chat very often, but then they just aren't smart enough to get this hint as to where the link is. But that's not your problem, chat. You're very smart. You will find those links. And when you do, you'll also have the option to become a Patreon patron or YouTube channel member to donate to us monthly. You can do a Ko-Fi or a YouTube Super Chat to donate to us one at a time. Either way, direct donations are the quickest way to help Site42 make our way to this crazy roster of conventions for the benefit of the SCP community and the Site42 community, as well as general daily operations running Site42. So we appreciate your generosity in helping us out with that. Furthermore, if you are part of the Broke Gang and you cannot help us out financially, do not fret. We understand starving artists here in this arts community. Trust me. Trust me, we understand. It's rough on these streets these days. But you can still help us out by being a member of Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename the Signal Boosters. When you like, share, subscribe, comment, chat, make memes, fan art, shitposts, edits, clips, out-of-context compilations, anything to spread Site-42 in the algorithm, you are bringing more people to the glory of the SCP community, which will help us to get SCP filmmakers, game devs, animators, merch makers, podcasters, as well as the SCP wikis, artists, and authors more attention, more resources, more better projects. So we thank you for your service, both the monetary team as well as Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename Signal Boosters. During that part of the outro, Gray sent a star and Resident sent a star. That brought you guys to a 1-star team with a new prestige rank. HRS asked how the Foundation handled Vex from Destiny 2. I do not know what Vex is. Desk, you sent me something in the back channels. Thank you very much. Cyber-organic species that are as ancient as the universe, enigmatic and inscrutable. They convert planets. We would study them from afar and try to find ways to retrofit technology to stop them from invading Earth. We might even sacrifice other planets to make sure they don't bother us. But we are a containment organization. We're not really a war-fighting organization. So that could be an end-of-the-world scenario if they came for us. DJ, thank you for sending a 100 to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I'm sure they'll keep it 100. Gray and Resonance, thank you for sending 2 more stars. They are now a 3-star team. Then Gray sent another 2 stars to make them a 5-star team, and Resonance sent a star to make them a 1-star team. So you're a 1-star team with another prestige rank, everyone. And Gray, thank you for your 1 month as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Won't over a month now. I see. Gabe, thank you for this last-minute donation during the end of stream. Grab yourself a milked shake on your way past the commissary. If an item was created anomalously, even if the item is not anomalous itself, would it be required for that item to be contained? If the item that is created is non-anomalous, then it would not breach secrecy if it got out. But we would have to find the thing that's creating these things anomalously and get rid of them. You know what I mean? The non-anomalous objects are not anomalous. They're not a problem. But anomalous creation, we would need to get that contained. Gary. Sorry, not Gary. What? Gary. Gray. Thank you for sending another star to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. They're now a 2-star team. And now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, content while that's a rough read. Guys, there is so much happening in this outro. It's a bit crazy. Resonance, thank you for sending another star. They're now a 3-star team. Rose Gray, thank you for sending a goat trophy to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. They are the goats after all. The Site 42 Containment Hazard Assessment Team and Mobile Task Force Site 42 codename Signal Boosters are the goats. Everyone knows it. Furthermore, allow me to say something I forgot about. I want to celebrate something with you real quick. I've got exciting news that if you stayed for the end of stream, you get to know. I just need to go to the right place to show you. I'm glad something reminded me of this before I stopped stream. Posts. So let me show you some very, very good news from friend of the channel, Andrea Joshua Asnikar, SCP film creator, who made the short miniseries, 4-episode miniseries, There Is No Anti-Memetics Division. Andrea has posted 2 days ago, this happened, thanks to Anti-Memetics, we got featured in Empire Film Magazine as future frighteners to look out for. The SCP Foundation and Anti-Memetics are on Empire. Small mention, but huge milestone. Thanks to everyone who is following our journey and supporting. They got mentioned in an article about the new internet horror Obsession. Andrea Joshua Asnikar trained as a cinematographer but gained prominence as a director in 2024 with his YouTube adaptation of the web serial There Is No Anti-Memetics Division by British author Sam Hughes. Asnikar's version perfectly captures the source material's blend of nightmarish Kafkaesque bureaucracy and Lovecraftian cosmic dread, and it gained 2.5 million views on a shoestring budget. His horror shorts have also had millions of hits, and he's currently prepping his debut cinematic feature. Big ups to friend of the channel, Andrea Joshua Asnikar, for being featured alongside the SCP Foundation in Empire Film Magazine. That is another way, a small way, that Hollywood is taking notice of the SCP Foundation, and our path to getting SCP movies made is 1 inch smaller. And a reminder, part and parcel of that is if you guys are able to donate to help me go to Open Sauce, where I will be able to bring the SCP Foundation to several prominent YouTubers in the film and game and tech space. So we appreciate your extra donations this next week to help me cover the exceeding costs of going to do this. Yes, Hotel California, Open Sauce is the convention I will be going to. It is a YouTuber convention. There will be lots of very prominent YouTubers. And I am doing my best to go there and be the diplomatic envoy of the SCP and Site 42 community. I'm going to have to talk to H Bomber Guy and Captain Disillusion and Aaron from Game Grumps and be like, hey guys, you ever heard of the SCP Foundation? Do you think it's cool? Do you want to help us make movies and games and stuff like that? And so there's many people we will be trying to network with in the gaming, animation, film, tech spaces. SCP Foundation game will stay winning. Coming back to the chat, I see more donations I have to do, even though we're already done, and this outro is taking forever. Sleepless Songbird, thank you for sending a flow state to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will lock in due to your urging. Toxidiver, thank you for sending 5 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. They got a prestige rank, and they are still a 3-star team. DJ, thank you for sending 4 100s to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will keep it 4 times as 100 at your urging. Sleepless Songbird, thank you for sending a Stay Hydrated to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. Staff, stay hydrated. So, Site 42 staff, this has been another coffee break. Nope. Gray, thank you for sending a star. The chat is now a 4-star team. Right before the end of stream. Almost 5 stars, but not quite. Site 42 staff, I hope you had fun at today's coffee break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the Anomalous broadcast from Site 42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'd say I see you in the next stream, but Gray, thank you for making chat a 5-star team. I'm sure they will very much appreciate being a 5-star team on the way out. Coolman Fight, thank you for your first donation at the very last second of stream. As well as being a member, grab yourself some Thai tea on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, we having a massive problem. Someone or group have stole the self-aware toaster. The toaster wants to burn down the world. Well, it's a toaster. Can it really actually burn down the world? It's self-aware. That's the anomaly. Not that it can burn down the world. That's a very different anomaly. I wouldn't worry too much. I would get it back, though, to stop any breach of secrecy. That's all. Site 42 staff, hope you've had fun. Hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. I was just the age of 16 when I first went on the drive. After 6 months hard labor, at home I did arrive. I courted with a pretty girl, 'twas her caused me to roam. Now I'm a river driver and I'm far away from home. I'll eat when I am hungry and I'll drink when I am dry. Get drunk whenever I'm ready, get sober by and by. And if this river don't drown me, it's down I'll mean to roam. For I'm a river driver and I'm far away from home. The credit song is River Driver by Great Big Sea. Be safe, be well, Site 42 staff, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video.